My name is Brian Letzelter. I am a data scientist at Keybank, and today I'm going to show you how we at Keybank use portal pages to communicate our data and make our reporting more efficient. On the agenda today, I'm going to talk about Keybank's journey a little bit into portal pages. So started out with Tableau, Tableau Server, and then eventually into portal pages. I'm going to explain what a portal page actually is and why we use it. Talk a little bit about the tools, how it works, give you a couple demos, and some future enhancements and what we learned. This subject is really important to me. I learned about it 2 years ago at the Tableau conference in Austin, Texas. I knew absolutely nothing about JavaScript, nothing about HTML, and I just saw some cool project that somebody did at the Tableau conference, and it inspired me to take that to my bank and add some value to the data at our bank. So if anything, I hope you guys walk out with some inspiration to take what I'm showing you today back to your companies and help your companies display their data a little bit better. So a little bit about my company. I work for Keybank. We're headquartered in Cleveland, Ohio. Anybody from Cleveland here? Yeah, see a lot of Cleveland people, so thanks for coming. We're the 18th largest bank in the United States with 137 billion in assets. We're kind of unique because we are a regional bank located in the Midwest. However, our branch network expands across the whole country. So we have branches in Maine, we have branches in Denver, Colorado, Washington, Alaska. So it's a really weird footprint. I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around it, but it also makes our regional bank feel a lot bigger than it actually is. So really, really kind of cool company to work for. We have 20,000 employees. And our CEO is Beth Mooney, who's been our CEO since 2011 and is actually the only woman bank CEO of a top 20 bank. So pretty impressive. What I like about Key is we're a relationship bank. We treat our customers very, very well. We also treat our employees very well. And we take care of the communities that we operate in. So any community that we have a branch network in, we really invest in the community, and everybody really wins in that case. And a little bit about me. I've been in banking for 14 years. I've worked for HSBC, Bank of America, Citibank, and Keybank. So a lot of heavy hitters there. I kind of have a weird path to data. I started out in trading. I wanted to be a trader. And one of my trading desk responsibilities was working for an algo desk, and they made us learn R, Python, SQL, SAS, Tableau, and I fell in love with data, never looked back, never wanted to be a trader after that. So kind of led me into data science and worked in the balance sheet optimization group at Bank of America, moved to the risk management group at Keybank, and now I work in the commercial payments group as a data scientist. And really what I like about my job as a data scientist is I get the ability to wear many hats. So when I walk in the morning, I never know what I'm going to be experiencing. I could be doing some data architecture. I could be doing some analyst work. I could be doing some modeling, forecasting. Could be, in an executive's office trying to, give them a story about a certain question that he had over the weekend. So you never really know what you're going to encounter as a data scientist. I know that term is thrown around a lot these days, but at Keybank, it just means I do a lot of stuff. So there's that. Outside of work, I have hobbies, and one of them happens to be traveling. And as you see in this picture, that's me and my girlfriend. We're in Argentina, and a lot of our traveling revolves around wine and food. So we did Malbecs in Argentina. Last year we did the Champagne region of France. A couple weeks ago I did Western Michigan beer tour. So some good stuff. Usually food and wine kind of drives where we go to travel. I also tutor math. I was never a strong math student in school, but my job requires me to use math to solve a lot of problems. So I try to give back to teach kids and inspire kids that math isn't really a dirty subject as I thought when I was growing up. So if I can help them realize that math is not a terrible subject and inspire them to solve problems with math, I've done my job. And then finally, I recently just got into yoga. So I do yoga 2 times a week, and it makes me a better analyst, to be honest. sometimes it can get a little crazy, and just to kind of take an hour a day at lunch and kind of, just get away from it all, center myself, is really kind of helped me as an analyst. So like I said, I have been in banking for 14 years, and it has really changed a lot in these 14 years. Data and data management has become really, really important, and I think you guys who have worked for banks have seen that too. There's a huge investment in data, huge investment in talent, huge just change in the landscape from when I first started. So there's really two drivers to that, and the first one is the financial crisis in 2008. In my opinion, banks kind of got caught off guard in 2008. They didn't know their positions, they didn't know what they were losing, what was going on in their business, and they kind of got scared a little bit, so started investing into data. And not only that, but regulatory landscape changed too. So now we have things like CCAR stress testing, DFAST, Dodd-Frank regulations. So banks are required to go through all these regulatory restrictions and reporting, and they have to do it fast and efficient. So they can really gain a competitive landscape by being efficient with their data management. The other competitive driver is the FinTech companies. So traditionally, when I first started, our only competition were other banks, other large banks like the Wells Fargos, the PNCs. But now there are young, agile, small companies that are able to offer financial services in a technical realm to customers. And right now, banks are kind of fending that off by partnering with these companies. However, it's only a matter of time before they become banks themselves and kind of, become our competitors, really. So that brings me to our journey at Keybank. I started 4 years ago, 2014. And this on the screen is kind of what our data structure was. We used some SAS, we used some Cognos, and everything was displayed in Excel. And as many of you know, with being here at the Tableau conference, using Excel can be rather inefficient and static, and it really doesn't give you a lot of insight into your data. And as you can see here, here's an example of what one of our reports did look like. It doesn't really give you a lot of insight on what's going on. And then couple it with this. It gets dizzying, so, I like numbers too, but this just doesn't make any sense. So our customers, who are our management and executives and internal clients, are not getting a lot of insight from those reports. We're just sending emails, there's not a lot of engagement, they still have to sort through this data, and it wasn't really efficient. So then in 2015, something monumental happened at Keybank. We acquired First Niagara Bank. That bank was about 20 billion in assets, so not incredibly huge. We grew about 20%, and we grew geographically, but we also grew with talent. And the leadership at Keybank identified that we needed to get better with our data and our data management by attracting talent from First Niagara. So we got rid of our old competency center and replaced it with First Niagara's competency center, and things started to change. So they introduced Tableau and Tableau Server to Keybank. As you can see on this chart, we grew 1,500 users in 15 months. That's an incredible growth, especially at our bank. We're only 20,000 people, so it's a big growth trend, and with that major growth trend comes a lot of problems. So does anybody have Tableau Server, and does their Tableau Server space look like this? Exactly, exactly. So the first problem we ran into with growing pains was our Tableau Server space looked like this. And our users were getting so desensitized with and frustrated with navigating through all this mess. That was our first problem. Our second problem was we had a nice structure. So the new group brought in this structure for our operational reporting. We used Cognos for our advanced analytics, SAS, R, and Python, and then visualization tool, Tableau and Tableau Server. However, we were too heavily siloed. So our users actually had to know where the report was generated in order to know where to go to get the report. So if it was a Cognos report, they would go to the Cognos server, pull the report down. If it was an R report or a Python report, they'd go to a SharePoint or an email. And then Tableau, they'd have to go to the Tableau server to get it. So I love data, but our users don't really care. They're tool agnostic. And we needed to come up with some sort of solution in order to keep our users engaged and not inundate them with all of these data problems that shouldn't be their problem. So we came up with the portal page, and really what the portal page does is it consolidates all of this valuable information into one consolidated place. So really the idea spurred when I was a young kid. Does anybody know what show this is? Sliders. There we go, all the nerds here. I watched that growing up, and that's actually the first time I've heard about a portal page. And really what the concept of Sliders is Jerry O'Connell's character slides in and out of a portal into different dimensions, and he's able to travel a long distance. And essentially, that's what a portal is. Our users are able to go to different aspects of their data through a portal. And instead of physically jumping through a portal, they're just clicking. So not as exciting, but same concept. And why would we use it? So portals give you the ability to give you a customized look and feel. And that may not seem important, but with a customized look and feel, the user feels more engaged. And what you can do is put buttons to their exact customization and have the layout exactly how a user would want to use it. So we found that when we do customize portals, they give the user a little bit more engaged feeling towards the data. It also gives you a targeted interface. When I showed you that Tableau Server mess that was on the screen earlier, our users had to click in a dashboard, then click in a filter to get exactly to the level that they wanted to go. Well, the portal, we can preset the filters, so when they log on to the portal, all their information for their group is already pre-filtered. And then the next one is kind of like my model for all filters, or all portal pages. Make it like the internet. So why I want to make everything like the internet is it requires less education. Because if you make it look like a website, you don't really have to teach them how to use it, because they use websites all day, every day. So that's been a really successful thing. And some people don't even know it's Tableau that we're using. They think it's just a website. So that's been really important. And then it's extensible. So our portal is modular, so we can put HTML in there, we can put iframes, buttons, anywhere we want. So it's a very modular setup, and we can pipe in different APIs. So it's really given us a really expansive ability to show our data and kind of tell the complete story. So really the portal idea spurred from news sites. And when I got to Key and I started thinking about portal pages, all we're doing is trying to tell a story with data. And what better thing to use as an example for portal pages as news sites? All they're doing is trying to tell a story, but they're using words. We're using numbers, charts, visualizations. So it's essentially the same thing. So I don't know why we've never really connected the dots before that. It was kind of like a eureka moment. It's like we're just trying to tell a story, just as the newspaper, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal are trying to tell. We're just trying to communicate it in the term of numbers. Our executives want to know the story. So really the inspiration for the portal page setup was from a newspaper site. And when you do look at my portal examples a little later on in the presentation, you'll see it kind of looks like a news site, probably not as refined. They're paid a lot more than me, so yeah, but that's the extent of it. And then the portal tools you need to start out. So the first thing you need is the Tableau Server. And in order to set up a portal page, you use the Tableau API. And I will be going over a real code example for you guys. So it'll hopefully kind of show you how we use the tools and what tools we use. I use a text editor called Notepad++. I'm sure all of you are aware of it, but you use Atom, whatever you want to write your code. And then some sort of server. So I actually just load my code up to SharePoint. I don't actually use SharePoint. I just load my code and use it as a server. So internally, I just write my code, load it into the SharePoint, and you can access it just like any other website internally. And then the most important thing is it's free. If you have Tableau Server, all this stuff is free. So that kind of is a really good advantage to having Tableau Server and can really help you take your company to the next level. And then how it's designed. So there's three main code components to making a portal page. And that's the first one's HTML, and that's the main structure of a web page. Prior to this, I didn't even know what HTML was. I've never even used it. So essentially, if I can learn it, anybody in this room could definitely learn it for sure. So the first building block to a portal page is HTML. The second one is CSS. So that's just another type of code. And that defines the look and the feel. So any type of font color, font size, colors in the background, stuff like that. And then the third is the JavaScript. And like I mentioned earlier, the JavaScript API, which Tableau offers, is what it does is it gives the behavior between your web page and the Tableau dashboard itself. So now I'm going to give you a demo, and I'm going to try to build a very, very simplistic portal page. When I told people I was actually going to do a live demo, everybody kind of looked at me weird. So this could blow up in my face. If it doesn't, though, I want applause. So, for the example, how many people here do Makeover Mondays? Anybody? Only 2. Wow. So okay, yeah. So let me shout out Makeover Monday. I do it every week almost. I load it to Tableau Public. And what Tableau Public is it's just a free place where you can, kind of upload stuff and data sets. And I do this thing called Makeover Monday where they give you a data set every week, you make a dashboard about it, upload it, and then they critique it later on. So highly, highly recommend it. It has helped me incredibly with Tableau and my development. So I don't know if a lot of people here know this, but if you have a desktop license, you can use it on your home desktop too. So you can load it 2 places. For free. So this is what Tableau Public looks like, and I kind of call it Instagram for data nerds, but these are all my dashboards, and the one I want to use for my examples is Makeover Monday we did a couple months ago, and this tracks the migration of the turkey vulture in North America. And as you can see here, they tracked 3 turkey vultures, their latitude, over a 3-year period. And as you can see, each color line there is a different turkey vulture. So there's 3 turkey vultures in this example. And as you can see, over the 3 years, it's almost scary how much of a pattern you see with the turkey vulture. So, I knew nothing about turkey vultures before doing this dashboard, but it seemed pretty amazing that they can do something like this without any GPS or anything. So I have this dashboard. And what I want to do is I want to build a website and add a button that will filter by each turkey vulture. So how am I going to do that? I use this website called CodePenio. Does anybody else use it? Never used it before? Basically what it is, it's a real-time HTML compiler. So I'm going to write the code in here, and hopefully it shows up on the screen to the right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the HTML section, and I'm going to change the title. I call it Migration of Turkey Vulture. Cool, pretty easy so far, right? So the second part of a portal page, like I mentioned, is the CSS code, and that's the look and the feel of it. So what I'm going to do now is I want to change the color of the title. So I'm going to take this code right here, and I'm going to paste that into the CSS part, and that's going to change the color and the font of my code. Now, since we're in New Orleans, let's change this from red to purple. And it's changed. So very, very basic title on a website. I'm not kidding when I said 2 years ago I didn't even know how to do that. So you guys are already way ahead of where I was 2 years ago. Now third, I'm going to add the JavaScript. And the JavaScript is this section of code right here. And to be honest, I still don't even know all that this does. I literally copied this from the Tableau API tutorial website, which I highly recommend you Google and go to. So I'm going to take this code, paste it here, and I'll come back to that. So now, I'm going to go back to my Tableau public site, and I'm going to take the link here. So they have a link here to this actual website, and I'm going to paste it into the JavaScript where it says website URL. And nothing happens yet. And the reason nothing's happening yet is we need to put it in our HTML that we have something in the JavaScript that relates to that function. So all I'm going to do is put this body on load, and it's going to load the function that I just pasted in the JavaScript. And hopefully something appears. So yeah, there you go. Pretty easy. So far, all we have right now is what they call embedded analytics. It's not exactly a portal page yet. So all I'm doing is embedding the dashboard into the website. Now what makes it a portal page is I'm going to add some buttons now to give it some interactivity. So I'm going to add a button right under here. And what that button's going to say is, I want to filter on Leo only. Now, nothing's going to happen with this button. When I click it, nothing happens. And why is that? Because I need a corresponding JavaScript code that corresponds with that button. So JavaScript allows you to interact with stuff. When you hit something, something happens. So I got to add some corresponding JavaScript code, which is right here. I'm going to put it in the JavaScript section. And it's going to reload. And now, fingers crossed, when I hit the button, we get filtering. There you go. Thanks, guys. Thanks. So now, let's say I want to add another button. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to add another button that says Leo and Disney. Paste that button. Another button should appear next to the Leo only. And again, nothing happens. So I got to go to my JavaScript section, and I have a function here called Leo and Disney button. Paste that. There you go. So there you go. It's easy, right? Now I would be posting this code on my Twitter and LinkedIn, so I'll have that at the end of the session, and this code will be in. The other code, probably not, due to IP stuff. So, so next I'm going to kind of show you how Keybank uses portal pages. So this next screen you see here is kind of the structure of our lines of business. And as you can see, it's kind of a pyramid, very vertical structure. We have top of the house, and then it splits out into other lines of business. And then as you go down, you get the different sections below that. So a person that wants to use this can actually navigate to all aspects of their business really quickly. And basically, every gray box represents a website. So if you're a credit manager or an internal executive, and say you are responsible for covering the corporate bank, you would just click this box, and a portal comes up. And once that's loaded, cool. You'll see it looks just like any other Tableau dashboard in this section. You have all the interactivity that you want. However, you're going to notice a difference. If you look at the top, there's a nav bar. And that nav bar contains a couple buttons, drop downs, and a couple other things that will allow a user to navigate to different areas of their business. And the first one I want to highlight is this drop down here. And this is essentially just a parameter. So if I click down here, it changes the exact parameter. So if I want to look at risky loans, I can do here. And by the way, all the key people in the room, this is not real data. This is all fake. So yeah. Yep. So yeah, you drop down, and you see it changes really easily. These next buttons here, if you press them, I'd say I only wanted to look at loans that are $1 million plus. Click there, and that's going to filter all the loans that are $1 million plus. And if you notice, the button color changed. And Took me about a day to figure that out, and I was just clicking buttons over and over again once I figured that out. It was a really good day in my life. So, so yeah, you can click this button, and I'm still doing it, sorry. And that'll actually filter all the data. Now these buttons on the right here will actually take you to a different dashboard. So say they wanted to look at the industry view. If I click here, this will take me to another dashboard that's just pointed to the industry. However, I can still use the same controls that I was using in the previous view. And then you could change your parameters too. And it's pretty fast too. This is live. This is hitting about 70 million rows right now. So pretty fast, not on extract, live Teradata. So, and then down here, as you can see, I got some buttons. And this was like a recommendation from people we worked with in the line of business, is they wanted to be able to take a snapshot of the screen. So what we did is when they're navigating around the dashboard, if they hit this button here, it'll actually take a screenshot of the PDF, of the view, and make it a PDF. So, you know, we still do a lot of PowerPoints, unfortunately, but at least it's a little bit more self-service, so they're not calling us to actually generate PowerPoints for them. So it's been a really good way to kind of give them some self-service functionality that wasn't there prior to portal pages. And then finally, I have this little drop down here, and what this does is it gives the users the ability to navigate to different dashboards or different other reports. So if I clicked here, you know, that'll give me an Excel spreadsheet that's generated by Cognos. So, you know, it's, you know, this was done shortly after my Austin trip, and, you know, it's progressed there, but, you know, my ability hasn't always caught up with what it looks like. So the next one I want to show you is kind of a new one that I'm working on right now, and this is in my new group. And some of the things you'll notice differently about this website or this portal is I'm utilizing the vertical space. So I have multiple dashboards vertically, and what that does is it gives you an infinite amount of space to tell your story. And I think as a society, we're kind of like moving towards that with websites and iPads and stuff like that. So if you actually look at a website, it goes on infinitely all the way to the bottom. So really that gives us a lot of real estate to work with and tell our story. So it really kind of makes sense that we're moving as a society into that, you know, type of structure with websites. And if you looked at my previous example, it looked like a sheet of paper. So it's kind of a progression in the portal page world at Key. So I found that was cool. The other thing too is oh man, let me refresh that. So the user has the ability to drop down, and as you can see, these are all different websites. Are all different worksheets on one page. So you can see this drop down actually changes all of the worksheets on this page. And then the user can actually navigate to different areas of their dashboards by just clicking this nav bar. So the nav bar has been a really nice addition to the portal pages, as well as this little button here, or down here, this nav bar. And we were experiencing a lot of difficulties with when data was run. So we added a nav bar at the bottom that says exactly when the data was run. So that kind of lets our users know exactly when the data, you know, is available and how up to date it is. And then finally, we have this portal reference. And this is kind of like a home button, but basically when you click it, it'll take you to videos and instructions within our group on how Tableau works. So if you ever get stuck, you just hit that button and it'll take you to some updated stuff for like assistance. So there are my portals. Let me get back to the presentation. So you saw just a really basic example of portals. Some feature enhancements are, we're at portals right now, but we want to move to mobile technology. A lot of our PAs and relationship managers are constantly on the road, and they have asked for mobile development. So we're kind of working on that, and if my last portal page that I actually showed you utilizes a thing called Bootstrap, and Bootstrap will make these portal pages look the same on a phone. So when you are looking at portal pages, look into Bootstrap, and that'll get you into mobile technology. The other thing that we're looking into is two-way communication. So not only do we want to tell the story, we want our people to give us information back. So for things like audits and sales leads, stuff like that, we want to utilize the write-back technology that Tableau offers for our customers to give us information back so we can put it in a database and make our portals smarter. Also, I want to integrate more APIs. So there are a ton of APIs out there that we can plug into the portal pages and give them up-to-date news, stuff like that. So that's a possible enhancement. And then personalized views. So the personalized views will utilize the REST API. And the REST API basically would be able to give a portal customized to a certain individual, so by ID. So I'll be attending some REST API classes during this Tableau conference. And then finally, what we learned. So really the biggest thing I learned about this is we collaborated with our users. Prior to that, I think we were a little bit more hands-off. We would just give them data and not really ask for feedback. So what Portal Pages does is it forces you to sit with your user and during beta testing, watch exactly how they use it. So one of the things I do is I'll sit down with somebody and I'll watch them actually use it. And it's really interesting to see where, when they get hung up or when they get confused. And it's just more of an intimate process that I think makes it more valuable from a data standpoint. Using the right tool for the job, Tableau is a great tool, but it doesn't do everything. So you're not going to do any machine learning or advanced AI on Tableau. So we use Python, stuff like that. Or if we're bursting reports, we're not going to do it in Tableau. We're going to do it in Cognos. So just think about what report you're going to run and how you're going to do it before you actually build the report. And then really importantly is follow your best practices. When I first heard that, I was like, whatever, I'll just do whatever I want. And really that affected the speed of Tableau. And I kind of hold myself to a standard. Even if a live connection, I want the dashboard to load in under 3 seconds. And if it doesn't load in under 3 seconds, I don't use it. So if I follow the best practices, it's never a problem, even with 100 million rows. And then the other thing is just always be innovating. The cool thing about the portal pages is you can make it as big as you want. You can make it look like a professional website if you want. You have the talent, you have the willpower, and it's really not that easy. So there's that. And then, like I said, I will be posting that CodePen code to my LinkedIn and to my Twitter probably this afternoon. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me, hit me up on LinkedIn or hit me up on Twitter, and I'll be more than happy to help you. I think really the thing that stands out with Tableau over any other tool is the community. And I've learned so much from the community, and if there's anything I can do to help you guys out, just let me know. So with that, thank you. So I'll take some questions. Anybody have questions? Yes.
So you said you're going to anything like
Yes.
JavaScript, HTML.
Sure.
So I'm kind of in that road.
Yep.
Do you have any recommended trainings? You could Google how to use JavaScript.
Yeah.
Like 100
So a good place to start is the actual Tableau API tutorial website. And if you just Google Tableau API tutorial, it'll be the first option. And that's exactly how I learned. So that's a good place to start. And then there's other websites. If you just Google them, I can talk to you after. Yes?
What made you break away from the working side like Tableau versus writing code? What is that?
Just mainly the customization. So it gives you a lot more free reign. I'm always the type of person that likes to see, kind of behind the curtains, and really just kind of gives you that extra customization. Also, I have kind of like a bigger vision where I want to start connecting other stuff, and that'll give me the ability to Yep, exactly. Yes. Yep. Yep. No, I'm actually, that's a good one. I'm actually using in the code itself. That's all one dashboard basically, and then what I do is I save it as a new view. So like in Tableau Server, you can save different views of the same dashboard, and then I just put those links in the HTML. And what that'll do is once they go to that HTML, it'll redirect them to that view of the dashboard. So yes, in the back. The look and feel, I just think it really just gives the user a more engaged feeling. And it's the Tableau server is a pretty cold place to be, and I don't think like a lot of people, they just get really frustrated. So this is a little bit more closer to a website, something they're used to. So there's that, and then like I said, there's a bigger vision that I can start plugging in other stuff. I didn't show the example, but I can plug stuff into Google News and stuff like that. So we can kind of like give them a totally custom feel and also like make it feel familiar, if that makes sense. Yes? Yeah. No, so yeah, so what I do is I write the code in Notepad and I save it as an HTML file and I load that to SharePoint directly. So I literally, like you would load like an Excel file to SharePoint, I load the HTML and then the path becomes a website. So yeah. Yes? Yeah, so you link the CSS and the JavaScript in your HTML. So you can do it all in one. It just takes some different structure, but I have an HTML file, a .css file, and a .js file that I link to the HTML. Yes?
How do you manage security for users coming into the portal?
Yeah.
With doc nodes?
Yep. So it's like a multifaceted level set. So you have your Tableau server, restriction, but then I can manage the access through my SharePoint. So it's not really scalable yet, but right now it's manageable. So until we figure out a better solution, and I think the REST API will solve that. Yes?
Do you have anyone else in your shop developing Tableau?
No.
So it's just you?
Yes. Well, not Tableau, but in Portal Pages. No, I'm the only one kind of doing Portal Pages. I would like the bank, this was kind of a proof of concept, and it's kind of grown. So maybe we'll start getting some UI developers. So any UI developers, let me know. So, yes? Yeah, that's a huge concern for sure. Yeah, and the thing is I don't know my code very well, so that's another, yeah, so, but I think I'm not going anywhere for a while, so I'll make sure to, put a succession plan if I am going anywhere. Yes? Oh yeah, for sure. Yep. Yeah, I think that there's capacity for that for sure. I still don't know enough about that type of stuff. I think, the bank really, they hire data people and, PhDs and statistics and stuff like that, and they really haven't focused on the delivery of the data. So we have so much data, but if you don't deliver it right, like, it's worthless. So I think the bank is going to move in the direction eventually where they're going to focus on the delivery. And I think that's just a natural progression. So hopefully in the next couple of years, I'm trying to trailblaze at least Keybank, to try to get that out there. Like, hey, this is a cool thing. Maybe we should invest in it. So, anyone else? Yes. Yeah. 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 Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, agreed. So yeah, and that's the other thing. All this is automated. So when I build all these reports, everything's automated from the Cognos, the R, the Python, and the Tableau Server. So immediately when the data updates, all this stuff is automated. So I don't touch any of those sites. And I think we have probably like 50 sites right now. Don't touch one of them because I'm using stuff like max state and stuff like that that makes it more automated. So yeah, I'll have to ask you more about that. Cool. Anyone else? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Thank you.